Yep. Hello and welcome to another gear review with me, Anjay. Today we are looking at the Jimi Nova Vibe from Moen. Jimi Nova. There are two versions of this around. One's called the Jimmy Shaker. I think it's the Jimmy Shaker, or the Shaky Jimmy, sorry, and the Jimi Nova. Now, they're both the same pedal as far as I can tell, both from Moen or Muzz Lady, but the Shaky Jimmy's in a much bigger box. This one is a fairly standard box size, so the kind of pedals I tend to have, same sort of size. I think they're EHX nano pedals size. I was looking for a replacement for phaser on my normal gig rig because I just wanted something a little bit different. And a lot of people I'd seen have been sort of going on about Univibes, and I thought I'd give it a go. But Univibes can be quite expensive, and I found the Jimi Nova for about £30 on Amazon, and I thought, well, why not give it a go? It's a fairly simple pedal. You've got three controls: depth, hue, and rate. Depth controls the depth of the effect, rate controls how fast it kind of vibrates. So if you don't know, Univibe is originally based on the concept of Leslie. A Leslie is a speaker that spins. So the faster it spins, the more effect there is, the more phasing and kind of weirdness you hear on the effect. So that's rate, and then hue is kind of it's a tone control essentially, whether it's very trebly or very bassy. And then you also have this little switch here that you can hear but probably can't see because it's tiny, which switches you between vibe and chorus. So basically when it gets to a certain speed you get very chorusy type sounds. So if you flick it over to chorus you end up with a really lush but quite expressive and broad chorus. Anyway, that's enough chatting. Let's get it on and see what you think. Cool, right, we're all set up. I'm using the Maybury Guitars T-Type floorboard, which is a P90 and a Telecaster bridge. This is I'm not going for a clean sound today. So I'm going for a crunch today. Let's put everything at 12 and switch this little sucker on. And we're in vibe mode. Okay, let's turn down the rate first and start from there. If I turn the depth up, you can hear that really nicely. So it kind of sounds like a phaser now. So if we're playing with the depth and the rate, you can kind of go through lots of different types of vibe sound. Now the unique thing on this one, not unique, but the interesting thing with this one is that you have the hue control, which kind of changes where the phasing sweep is. So if I put everything back to 12, you can hear it kind of changes the whole tone of the pedal. So if we kind of go... really obvious vibe. You go from really subtle kind of phasery effects to the real hard vibe sound. Heading into chorus, which brings us to the toggle switch. So we're in vibe mode at the moment. If we switch over to chorus mode, that's chorus, this is vibe. So it takes a lot of the wobble out. Just raise the depth all the way. Bring that halfway down, drop the rates. Not totally sure the hue does anything on chorus mode. It's a very particular type of chorus. You have to like this type of chorus for it to be any use to you. But having the switch to go between vibe and chorus makes this pedal kind of a bit of a Swiss Army knife for modulation, because you can go from chorus to phaser to Univibe, you know, with that kind of almost Leslie-like feeling to it. And I suppose that's what the hue's doing, is it's changing the blend between kind of the tweeter and the sub that you tend to get on a Leslie, where you have two different cones. Now, my only thing that I don't like about this is you lose a lot of bottom end when you're playing around with this. So without, it does thin the sound. Even when you move the hue all the way around to the bass, then it gets muddy. It can get muddy. But you can get kind of a good sound when you play with it. It's one of these pedals you need to actually get to know and play with a bit more. On my board, it's swapped out from a phaser. I've put this in there. So I'm just getting used to how well it works. There's a lot of fun to be had with it, and it's one of those pedals that you're either going to love or you're going to hate. I really like it. I don't know whether I love it yet, so I kind of contradicted myself there. You love it or hate it. I don't know if I love it yet, but I like it. What I mean is, the kind of effect is one of those ones where you either really like this kind of effect or you don't like it. This is a really cost-effective entry into the Univibe market, so it's about £30 on Amazon. I'll put a link to that below. And for me, it represented an opportunity to try out the Univibe sound in my setup. It might be that I go for a more expensive version because I really do like the sound, maybe head towards the Dunlop versions. But for the time being, while I'm experimenting, this is really good. And the fact that you can go between chorus and vibe makes it really, really useful. What do you think? There are some great videos of other Univibes out there in Leslie's type effects. Have you got one? Have you tried one? Is there a favourite of yours? Have you got one of these and you really like it? Or have you got the bigger box version by Moen, where it's exactly the same effect, but in a slightly bigger, slightly odd-shaped box? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.